Until this week, one of the biggest figures in modern sport was some dude you've never heard of. And no, I'm not talking about Vinicius, the 2016 Rio Olympic mascot, billed as a mixture of all Brazilian animals, but who's really just a Hello Kitty with jaundice. The spotlight has fallen on Phua. Now, I know what you're thinking. Phua?
He's someone that's absolutely known to us, and someone that Victoria Police regards as a risk to the integrity of sport. Absolutely.
A risk to the integrity of sport. Now, Phua controls MaxBet, one of the world's largest unregulated gambling sites. The internet has made lots of things easier. Ordering shoes, flirting on the toilet. Seriously, no, flirting on the toilet in the 90s, that was niche. But when it worked, mwah. It's also... well, when it worked, wash your hands, then... But it's also created infinite opportunities for illegal betting.
There's an enormous amount of liquidity in the illegal sports gambling market. It's hundreds of billions of dollars. Like every other country in the world, you're going to be threatened with a tsunami of match fixing.
A tsunami? Damn it. I had a hungy on an avalanche. Already we've seen corruption contaminate tennis.
Match fixing and cover-ups. Allegations of widespread corruption in world tennis have marred the first day of the Australian Open.
A former Australian tennis executive has warned matches are being fixed several times a week at all levels of the sport.
Turns out tennis players are giving 110% to make 60% look like 100%. It's not only ethically unconscionable, it's mathematically impossible. Of course, sporting codes have their own integrity units, which tennis proved is about as useful as a cross-eyed ball boy. He wasn't originally that cross-eyed, but Novak Djokovic just got him in the nads. Now, this is a big problem. One of the greatest joys in life is watching an elite athlete screw up. But if we're wondering whether they're getting paid to do it, the whole debacle denies us the pure joy of moments like these.
New man to the crease. Oh, my goodness gracious me! What has happened there?
But now Cipriani, and here it is, and oh, he's put it down!
Singapore, and right now the Philippine diving team.
Yeah, no way that one was fixed. No. Although, what better sport to hide the fact that you're diving than actual diving? Incredibly, of the trillion dollars wagered on sport every year, 80% of it is illegal, which takes us back to MaxBet, a Philippines-based site banned in Australia, much of Asia, the US and many parts of Europe, but that offers odds on our sport here in Australia. To understand just how big MaxBet is, take the annual turnover of Coca-Cola and double it. The estimated cash flowing through MaxBet is higher than the individual GDPs of over 2/3 of the world's countries. It's run as a weird, complicated pyramid scheme. Think Avon of the underworld. And at its peak is Phua, identified by the FBI as a senior triad member and apparently Ocean's 11 villain.
The FBI is accused of planning a real-life ruse inside the Caesars Palace villas. Their target? Paul Phua, who the government suspected was illegally gambling. The FBI disconnected Phua's internet so Phua would have to call for a repairman, who turns out to be an undercover FBI agent.
Check it out. The TVs are all tuned to the World Cup, and the agents say all the computers logged onto illegal gambling sites.
Incidentally, the millions he won that day, he later lost when he paid his hotel Wi-Fi bill. The charges against Phua in the US were dropped because, as the FBI learned to its disappointment, impersonating a repairman is only legal if you're a porn star. Yeah, he better put on some safety goggles because he could get anything in his eyes. Although he was never charged, multiple sources say Phua funded MaxBet in '97 by betting big on English football games, then arranging for blackouts to end the games when the scoreline was just right.
From 2-0 down to 2-2, thanks in part to a sweet strike from the right boot of Frank Lampard, on whom the lights have now gone out.
It was so dark, soccer hooligans were headbutting each other by accident. Phua is an enigma wrapped in a mystery on board his own private jet, whose rego includes excessive lucky number 8s, and on which he flew around the world with a diplomatic passport because, despite being a Malaysian citizen, he was appointed as San Marino's ambassador to Montenegro. And yet, he dresses like a divorced dad eating a lean cuisine in front of Miss Fisher's murder mysteries. Or, as it turns out, a Crown Casino VIP.
He's a well-known character and a great client of Crown Casino.
He sure is. Here he is in 2012, 2013 and 2014. In fact, he was here just a few weeks ago. James Packer had a harder time getting into Crown Casino and he owns it. In fact, we understand it wasn't until the ABC started poking around that police have finally moved to ban Phua from Crown Casino. For over a decade, one of the most notorious players in world sport has waltzed into Australia betting he could get away with it. Surprising, given the first line of defence against nefarious characters entering this country is Border Force, who had no trouble keeping out Snoop Dogg, or actual dogs. And the Migration Act says that they can block entry to those suspected of being involved in organised crime. So why let Phua in? Border Force is so passionate about sport, they're spending $1.3 million awarding medals to themselves. Yeah, bad luck to the only 3 employees who missed out on that one. Yeah, sorry, Sheila. I think next time, if you're just a bit more racist. Match fixing has never been a bigger threat, so why did The Weekly learn this week that the Australian Federal Police has scrapped its sporting integrity unit? That's like cancelling your home and contents insurance the day Corey Worthington throws a party at your place. Why is it that only a few suits make up the National Integrity of Sport unit, which runs out of the Department of Health? Yeah, this crack team is in charge of oversight, monitoring and coordination, but as yet, no underworld figure on the planet has been oversighted, monitored or coordinated into handcuffs. 5 years ago, all states and territories agreed to make match fixing specifically illegal. So why is it that 2 states still haven't? If you're in WA or Tassie, you can match fix till the cows come home. Hell, bribe one of the cows to stay out all night. We Australians love our sport more than any other country in the world, except for all of them, which is why we have the Olympics. So why don't we crack down on match fixing? After all, we need to know for certain that when a player tanks, it's for the right reasons.
Yeah. Well, that's a tank.
I'm not going to play.
No, this is my judgment.
I'm not playing.
Because they're a good old-fashioned Aussie dickhead.